words of Baz from the fantastic rock band Massive Wagons. Hey, great to meet you.
Oh, great. Likewise. Thanks for speaking to me. Appreciate it.
How did the band come to be formed?
Crikey, that was a while ago now. I mean, it was kind of came out of a few different. Well, me and Adam played together. Adam Thistlefield, the guitar player. We played in a covers band for a year because I was playing bass guitar and I basically wanted to learn how to play the bass guitar. And that sadly came to nothing after a year. And he'd been jamming with some of the guys, teaching another guy guitars. And there was another guy on drums at the time. And they were just learning a few covers really. And they didn't have a singer and I was doing nothing. So they asked me and I was like, I'd always fancied having a go at singing. I'd never thought I could sing, but I just thought, I'll have a go, how bad can it be? It's just going to be a garage project type thing. And yeah, no, it was good, I enjoyed it. And then we spent the next few years playing covers really, just playing in pubs and stuff, and then started writing our own music and that was that really, yeah.
I read an interesting story about how the band name came about regarding a barmaid.
Oh God.
Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, well, she's a good friend of ours, and it was an affectionate nickname for a barmaid in a local drinking sort of place we used to hang out. Actually, where we actually formed the band, to be honest, that's where I got talking to the guys, and because we were all old school mates, you see, so we all drunk in this. It was like a local rock pub, so yeah, that's where it comes from, really.
Who have been your inspirations?
Inspirations, crikey. Well, in my own life, my dad definitely. I mean, he's been in bands for years. When I was a little kid, country bands, rock bands, all sorts, going out every weekend and making a little extra money. So music's always kind of been there. And that's why I learned to play bass, because he's a bass guitar player. But inspirations in music, I don't know. I mean, they kind of come and go. I mean, like all bands, I kind of listened to stuff for a long time, and I never stopped being fans of AC/DC originally, Deep Purple, these classic Rainbow, these bands, and then I got introduced to a lot more sort of British rock bands by Adam. I've known Adam a long time, Thunder and bands like UFO especially, like UFO or Magic. And like as I was growing up, I was certainly a fan of the sort of 90s British indie rock scene. I was an Oasis fan, Blur, all those kind of bands, Shed 7, Blue Tones, James, and then the heavier stuff like the Wild Arts and certainly Terrorvision, big fans of those guys. And we'd be lucky to play with some of those bands, and it's kind of, from somebody who was a fan of them back in the day, it's kind of might be mind blowing, a bit weird, but no, it's mega. So yeah, definitely at the moment though, yeah, good lyricists like Ginger. Ginger's a great lyricist, and we really like his work. Like.
Your fifth album was released last July. Was it frustrating that you couldn't tour it until now?
Yeah, at the time it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, but I could have been down about it. But every band was in the same situation, and there was people in worse situations than us. So we just got around it. It was kind of, it ended up being kind of cool in a way, being backed into a corner. You kind of, you either sink or swim. You know what I mean? And we sort of did other things, and we knew it would happen. So we just put it off and did live streams and live shows and online and stuff, and we got to play the songs, but to finally be able to get out and play them properly for people is a good feeling. Yeah, definitely. There was a worry that if it went on any longer, we might have written a new album and have a new set of songs before we got to play any of the House of Noise songs. So, but no, I'm glad this is happening. It's good fun.
The band caught in controversy when you mounted a mural of an album cover on the side of a pub. Could you tell the story of how it came to that?
Well, it was an idea. It was a bit of a joint idea between us and Earache. They've always had this idea to do like a big giant graffiti thing to publicise a band's album release, and we had a place we could do it. And it's a place that we always played as a younger band, as a cover band. It's a local rock place that we all went to. And they owned the pub, the people that lived there, and they said we could put this picture on there. There's no problem. So like great. So we got these guys in from Nottingham, these graffiti artists, to paint the cover of Full Nelson on the side of the pub. And then within a week, the council had seen it, and even though the council don't own the building, they kicked up a fuss, said it was an advert. Like I said, I kind of see where they're coming from. It wasn't strictly an advert. It didn't advertise anything. It was just the album cover. Then they sent a snotty letter to the pub. Saying take it down or we'll take you to court. Anyway, the E-Rate kicked off this and a few other people kicked off an online sign it petition, and then people just went mad for it. Just even people that didn't know us or didn't like rock music, they just like to stick it up the council a bit, because they were just being a bit unreasonable. And it came out. But the council backed down and said, yeah, well, right, you can keep it. I don't think they wanted to lose any face, So yeah, it's still there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Right?
Your songs have a lot of comedy elements. Where do the ideas for the comedic themes come from?
I don't know. Life, not taking things too seriously. To be quite honest with you, I don't know. Yeah, it's just my life and all the things I see. And I never want to sing. We're about having a good time and having a party. I don't want to. I like to touch on like serious subjects, certainly, but kind of put the lighter side. I like to put the lighter side of life in songs a lot of the time because it's. I sing about serious topics in a bit of a funny manner. I don't like to take things too seriously. But yeah, and I don't want to get too deep or impose my opinion on people. I don't want to push people away that way.
Speaking of comedy, are there any funny moments you've had on tour that you'd like to share?
Funny moments on tour. Well, the smell on that bus isn't funny. I know that. Most of them involve our drummer Alex, and I can't really speak about them. We once had a funny moment years ago. Funny story. We played a gig and we used to have a little red transit van, and we played this gig, and the gear used to go in the van super tight, super packed in. So you could just get the doors closed, and we're driving away from this venue. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and everybody's out on the street, and they're all going. We're driving away, and they're all waving their arms, going like this, yeah. And I'm hanging out the window, going, fucking, they enjoyed it, way. They loved it, they loved us. And then we're driving up the road. We must have drove about 20 miles up this country road. We got to the motorway, and we're driving up the motorway, and these wagons started flashing the lights at us. Fucking, what's going on here? So they weren't at the gig, so we pulls on the hard shoulder. We're driven all that way with the back doors of the van open. They're both wide open, and all the gear's just there, like Adams Gibson Les Paul, and there's an SG and Marshall heads and all sorts. And nothing had come out. Unbelievable how nothing had come out. So yeah, I think maybe God's a fan of the band. I don't know, but we got away with it.
Was it hard to find your rhythm performing live for the first time after lockdown?
We play a lot anyway. We practice a lot, and we've done a lot of live streams. And we did actually do a few sort of social distance gigs over lockdown, which weren't a lot of fun, to be honest with you. We did a couple at Chester Live Rooms. They were odd and unique, and I'm kind of glad we did them because it was kind of a point in time, with this weird situation to look back. But at the time, there was no atmosphere, and but we used those. We did the Download pilot, and we used those two social distance gigs, as like a warm ups for the Download pilot, really. So we were all right. I mean, we were a bit worried we might have lost something, but nah. Once you get playing, it was like the last 2 years hadn't happened anyway. So soon got back into it.
Do you guys ever do any cover versions?
Covers? Oh well, blimey. Yeah, well, for the first 4 years of the band's life, we were a cover band, so we do hundreds. We don't do them so much anymore. We might throw an odd one in here and there if we're doing a bit of a light-hearted set for somebody, or we'll throw one or two in perhaps for a giggle if we're up for it. But well, to be honest, we're actually doing a little bit of a cover medley tonight in the middle of Banging on Your Stereo. We do like three tracks that were kind of that we all love, just a little piece of them, But yeah, I don't know, every now and then. I don't mind doing a cover, it's alright, depends what it is. As long as it's not fucking AC/DC, I'm not bothered.
There's been a gap on the UK chart scene more or less since The Darkness. Is this something you would aim to fill?
I don't know. I think the last couple of years, rock and metal has certainly been stamping its authority a bit more on the chart, certainly more in the last year and a half than any time in the last few years previous. There's some great metal bands around that are charting in the top 10, and Thunder and Blackberry Smoke and these kind of bands are always in the top 10 when they release albums. I don't think it's ever gone away. It's maybe not as, it hasn't got the presence it once had, but I think it all goes around in cycles, and as long as there are bands grinding it out for the next bands, then it's all good. We might just be grinding out a path for another band that are going to take things to this massive level. Who knows? I'm just happy doing what we're doing. I can't fucking believe we're even still together, to be honest. So this is good enough for me. It's all right. I'm happy with what we've got. I'm a simple man with simple needs.
Have you found popularity in many other countries?
Yeah, Germany definitely. Yeah, Germany. Yeah, we got Billy Balloon had got picked up in Germany and played on all their radio stations, and it's gone good, really good in Germany. We've not really got a couple of other countries a little bit, but next month we've got to Germany for 3 dates, and the plan is to attack Europe next year. So yeah, well, hopefully in the next year or so things will pick up a bit more. Yeah, but certainly Germany. Yeah.
I asked those damn crows if they were asked to represent the UK for Eurovision, would they be up for it? Is this something you would be up for if you were asked?
The curry tongue, something like that. I don't know. I once actually thought about it a few years ago when we were thinking of knocking it on the head. I think we'd released "Welcome to the World," and the band wasn't really going. It was right before we got signed to ERIC, to be honest. And our label, our contract with our old label, Off Your Rocker, had sort of passed, and we didn't have a label, and we were struggling to find a label, and we'd all had families, and we're like, okay, I don't know. We thought, should we go for it with Fee 5 for fun for a laugh? I'd have done it then, definitely. Whether would I do it now? I don't know. Maybe in a few years. I don't know. It's kind of like it's like the kiss of death, isn't it? It might be the sort of thing you end up doing, and then the Darkness did it, didn't they? Or Justin Hawkins did it. I think when the Darkness were on a bit of a downtime, but I don't know. Perhaps. Fuck knows. I don't know.
What's next for Massive Wagons?
Yeah, rest of this tour. Yeah, well, we're recording in November, hopefully. I think the studio's booked, so we've got most of the songs written. And then next year, Europe, hopefully, and download again, and just keep going. The same old, it's just the same old crap cycle. It's the same old, keep going. Tour, album, gigs, tours, festivals. Yeah, same old stuff. Yeah, just keep going.
Thank you for your time.
No worries, thanks for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.